Welcome to Tech Simplified TV, where technology meets simplicity. I am your host Mridul, and in each episode we break down the latest tech trends, gadgets and innovations into bite-sized, easy-to-understand pieces. Whether you are a tech enthusiast or just looking to stay ahead in digital world, we have got you covered. Get ready to demystify technology and make it work for you. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Birth of Radio. Marconi's revolutionary invention from 1894 to 1901. Our story begins with the late 19th century, a time when communication across long distances was a cumbersome task. It was in 1894 when an Italian inventor named G. Marconi forever changed the landscape of communication. Marconi invented the first ever practical radio system, a groundbreaking achievement that go on to save countless lives and connect the farthest corners of the world. Marconi's invention was revolutionary because it allowed for wireless communication, a concept that was nothing short of magical at that time. He initially demonstrated his invention by sending radio signals over a short distance, but his ambition didn't stop there. By 1901, Marconi achieved what many thought was impossible. He transmitted the first wireless message across the Atlantic Ocean from England to Canada. This was not a spoken word or music, but rather a series of buzzing sounds in Morse code. Yet, it marked the beginning of a new era in long-distance communication. Chapter 2. The radio's early development and dawn of broadcasting from 1904 to 1919. After Marconi's success, the radio underwent a series of significant refinements between 1904 and 1914. Engineers and inventors around the world were captivated by the potential of this new technology. We worked tirelessly to improve its transmission and reception capabilities. During this time, the focus was on enhancing sound quality and making the radio more reliable, which laid the groundwork for the next big leap in radio technology. In 1919, a milestone was reached at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. For the first time in history, human speech was broadcast over the airwaves. Imagine the excitement and wonder of hearing a human voice transmitted through the air, reaching listeners miles away. This event marked the beginning of a new chapter in radio story, the birth of broadcasting. Chapter 3. The Golden Age of Radio and its impact on society, 1920s till 1930s. In 1920s, ushered in what is now known as Golden Age of Radio. The world was rapidly changing, and so was the role of the radio. The first commercial radio station, KDKA in Petersburg, began broadcasting in 1920. Suddenly, radios were no longer just devices for receiving Morse code. They became entertainment centers that brought music, news, and drama into people's homes. As the decade progressed, radio evolved from bulky pieces of equipment into beautifully crafted wooden cabinets that became a centerpiece in the living rooms. These changes were not just cosmetic. The technology inside was also improving. In 1923, Edwin Armstrong invented the super heterodyne receiver, which made radios easier to use and more reliable. This invention allowed radios to become more accessible to the average person, fueling their popularity even further. By the 1930s, radios became the integral part of everyday life. Families gathered around the radio to listen their favorite shows, whether it was a comedy program, a drama series, or the latest news broadcast. The radio wasn't just a source of entertainment, it was a lifeline, connecting people to the world beyond their immediate surroundings. And with the advent of smaller, more affordable radios, Lifeline became available to even a broader audience. Chapter 4. Technological advancements and rise of the FM radios from 1940s till 1960s. The 1940s and 1950s saw radio technology continue to advance. In 1948, Bell Laboratories made a significant breakthrough with the discovery of the transistor. This small device revolutionized electronics by making radios more compact, portable, and energy efficient. Suddenly, radios could be carried in pockets, allowing people to take their entertainment with them wherever they went. The 1950s also marked the beginning of radio's role in national news broadcasting. Stations began to build their reputations by broadcasting from unique locations like hot air balloons or swimming pools, creating new kind of immersive storytelling that captivated audiences. This period also saw the rise of FM radio, which offered superior sound quality compared to AM broadcasts. Music lovers flocked to FM stations, and by the 1960s, FM radio became a major force in the broadcasting world. During the 1960s, radios began to integrate with other devices. Chapter 5. The Digital Revolution, Transition to DAB and Beyond, 1970s till present. As we moved into the 1970s and beyond, the radio continued to evolve alongside other technological advancements. The 1980s saw radios become even more sophisticated, with larger speakers for better sound quality and more complex designs that included lights, controls, and screens. By the 1990s, the radios featured bigger screens, additional buttons, and knobs, offering users the increasingly interactive experience at the cost of higher prices. The real game changer came in 21st century with the advent of digital audio broadcasting, or DAB. DAB represented a significant leap forward in radio technology. Unlike traditional analog signals, DAB transmits audio in digital format, offering listeners CD quality sound. The benefits of DAB doesn't stop there. It also allows additional services like text and images to be broadcast alongside with audio. Imagine listening to your favorite song while seeing the artist's name and album art displayed on your radio screen. DAB technology also solves some of the problems. With DAB's single frequency network, SFN, listeners could travel without losing their signal, making it a more reliable and user-friendly experience. Chapter 6. Global Adoption and the Future of Digital Radio. Today, DAB and its successor DAB Plus, adopted in countries around the world, from UK and Europe to the Australia and Canada. Listeners have embraced their superior sound quality and additional features offered by digital radio, and the trend is only growing. In India, the digital radio model (DRM) system is being tested and implemented, offering another option for digital broadcasting. DRM is particularly advantageous for its ability to work across all the broadcast bands, providing more channels within the same frequency range and enhancing the listener's experience with features like crawling text and emergency warning services. The transition to digital radio, however, is not without its challenges. It requires significant capital investment from broadcasters and the adoption of new receivers by consumers. In countries like India, where the radio listenership is heavily tied on mobile phones, the rollout of digital radio will depend on integrating the necessary chipsets into these devices. The transition is expected to take several years, with analog and digital broadcast running in parallel until the digital radio reaches a critical mass. But the potential benefits are enormous. For listeners, digital radio offers more channels, better audio quality, and richer user experience. For broadcasters, it opens up new revenue streams through targeted advertising and additional services. And for society as a whole, it ensures that radio remains a vital part of our communication infrastructure, capable of adapting to new technologies and changing listeners' habits. Chapter 7. The Role of Digital Radio in Community Broadcasting and Emergency Communication. One of the most exciting aspects of digital radio is its potential to revolutionize community broadcasting. Traditional FM radio station can only broadcast a single program, but with digital radio, multiple channels can be transmitted simultaneously on a single frequency. This means that community radio stations can offer wider variety of content, reaching more people with more targeted programming. Digital radio also plays a crucial role for emergency communication. In time of disaster, when other communication channels might fail, radio remains a reliable source of information. Digital radios can automatically switch to emergency warning channels, ensuring that listeners receive critical updates when they need them most. This capability makes digital radio an invaluable tool in public safety and disaster response. Chapter 8. The Future of Radio Technology and its Impact on Society. As we look to the future, the evolution of radio is far from over. The integration of radios with other digital technologies is already happening, with radios being incorporated into smart devices, cars, and even home automation systems. The development of new chips like Skyworks SI468X and NXP's SAF360X is paving the way for even more advanced and efficient radios that can support a wide range of digital broadcast standards. These innovations will continue to shape how we use and interact with radio, making it much more versatile, more accessible, and more integrated into our daily lives. Whether it's listening to the latest news on your morning commute, tuning into a community broadcast, or receiving emergency alerts during a disaster, radio remains the essential part of our media landscape, one that continues to adapt and thrive in digital age. And that wraps up today's episode, guys. From Marconi's first radio transmission to the digital revolution, we have explored the incredible journey of radio technology.